Welcome to regular session of Nogales Housing Authority's Board of Commissioners meeting 4 p.m. Actually, 4:13 p.m. Thursday, December 14, 2023, City Hall Complex, City Council Chambers. Call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Doyle, do us the honor.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No call to a public, Ms. Lepi? Thank you. Okay, item 4, presentation, audit summary, Ben-Hur. Marita, the mic, please, the mic.
Good afternoon, thank you. We do have our auditor from Fester and Chapman here, Ben-Hur, and he will be presenting the audit summary for the fiscal year ending March 2023. Go ahead, Ben. Ben, you're muted.
Sorry for that. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ben-Hur with the Fester and Chapman, the CPA firm partners in Scottsdale. We have performed the audit for the housing authority of the city of Nogales for the fiscal year ended March 31st, 2023. Here is a summary of our audit picture. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
So this presentation is basically has two parts. First part is the audit summary from the departmental audit. The second part of the presentation is financial overview from the audited financial statements we actually presented here. First, we actually performed this audit to express our opinion on financial statements, and we have a modified opinion on the financial statements, which means financial statements themselves are presented fairly in all material aspect of accordance with the GAAP. We have finding noted and the material weakness in the interpretation financial reporting, which is included in our report that is associated with the financial reporting process. During our audit process, we actually come across misstatements of very similar measure accounts, resulted in audit adjustments. That's why we actually have these findings. Secondly, when the organization received the benefit from the over 750s, single audit is required. We actually have performed a single audit for the major program we selected as below, and then we actually tested them in for their compliance with the laws and regulations required from the funding. So major program we selected is federal assistance missing numbers 14.871 section 8 housing tools vouchers, and then there is another program is clustered with the section 8 voucher program, so that is kind of considered as part of the major program. From our testings of a major program for the single audit, we also noted one of the findings reported as a significant deficiency in internal controls over compliance that is associated related to the eligibility determinations. We actually noted that the lack of the proper internal control over the tenant's eligibility determination process is considered as a significant deficiency. This is another part of our research summary. When there were the findings reported in the previous year's audit reports. So management is responsible for presenting the summary, updating the status of those findings. There were 3 findings were reported in 2022 audit. The first one was associated with the financial statement findings. Finding number 2022-001. It was reported as significant deficiency in the internal controls over financial reportings. Since we actually have similar findings in 2023, we consider that was not fully corrected. There was 2 other findings associated with the federal fundings. Finding number 2022-002 and the 003s relating to the declaration of the trust documentation and depository agreements documentations we were able to obtain those documentations missing from the prior audit, and then we actually was able to clear them as a finding, so we actually mark them as corrected. The other communications required for the auditors is a report to the Board of Commissioners. So basically, this report is including everything that happens during the this year's audit, including if there's any sensitive estimation used by the management and significant disclosures, including financial statements. So we actually identified that patient liability associated related disclosures, and it allows for the doubtful accounts estimations for them is considered as significant as notable in our communication to the board. We also has been commented that we do not have any difficulties encounters in performing our audit. We do not have any disagreements with the management for this year's audit. However, here's again, we actually emphasize that there was one material weaknesses in finance reporting was found and noted, included in our reports, and there is one significant deficiencies in compliance was actually reported in the auditor. Second part of this presentation is basically financial overview. So as of the March 31st of 2023, the housing authorities reported a total asset for outflows of about $10 million, which is including $7.3 million for the property and equipment, and $3 million of cash and cash equivalents. Total liability and deferred inflows was reported about $2.2 million. $1.6 million is related to non-current employee benefit, which is mostly pension-related liabilities. And with those two assets and liabilities, authority is by the statements reported about $8.2 million worth of the net positions. Among them, $7.3 million is associated with the net investment capital. From the revenue standpoint, a total of $2.9 million of revenue was reported. $1.6 million was operating rents received from the federal government, and then about $0.5 million was capital rents they have received. $0.7 million was rental income they collected during the year. So that is going to make up to $2.9 million of revenue. Expense-wise, total of $2.8 million of expense was reported. $0.8 million was associated with the housing assistance payment for the Section 8, and that $0.5 million was spent for maintenance operations, and $0.5 million was depreciation expenses, and then the remaining was considered administrative expenses reported in the financial statements. So that is the end of my presentations. Do you have any questions, please?
Anybody have any questions? Can you just, in short words, how do you see the city standing on the audit? Plus, on the findings, you said you had two findings. One was material weakness. The other one was significant. Do those findings have any bearing to the city on what you found for future continue to work?
So the question was about bars, and then it was not clear to me. If anyone can just go rephrase it, or just go speak it through the microphone, that would be.
Okay, this is Mayor Maldonado. Just, in short terms, on the findings that you found, there was one material weakness on financials, then there was another one significant. How do we address those, or have those been addressed, and how do you see us with those findings going forward?
Can you hear me, Ben? Oh. Go ahead. Were you able to hear that? His question?
Sorry, can you just repeat that again?
Were you able to hear Mayor Maldonado's questions?
I can hear the first part. He just mentioned that one was what's your weaknesses for the financial reporting? And then the second one was significant deficiency related to the control of compliance. I didn't get that second part.
He was he was asking based on recommendations and or impact that these findings may have.
Yes, there was the recommendations at the end of our findings. So for the financial reporting part, so main regions we identified, it was not was this big area. There's a couple of areas in the financials reporting process, year-end closing process, some of the lack of control. So therefore, we suggested this monitoring those year-end closing activity carefully, and then also we also recommended to regularly look at financial reportings to ensure those amounts reported is properly correctly reported. In detail, there was a few different type of findings. Some of the balances were basically remaining in the books without proper adjustments modification many years. So that's why we actually suggested to clean that up from their books, and then that is the revision to the findings. So that's kind of like what we actually recommended. And then I believe the authority, depending on how the authority is working on working with us to prepare corrective action plan for that. Second one for the material controls, material weaknesses for the non-compliance issue was, even though we didn't come across any like miscalculation of the parents' eligibility determinations, we are suggested that to not only those persons who prepare those determinations, but there need to be other layers of internal control to make sure those calculations done correctly by the other person that is part of the controls over that process. So again, we actually have made a recommendation, and maybe the next the management is working on that.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any other questions? Any other recommendations you would have, Mr. Ben, or anything that we got to look down for the future for our new director, Ms. Maritza, to be aware and working, her numbers and being compliant with future audits and all that?
Ben, were you able to hear the second question?
Sorry, unfortunately, I couldn't hear it out. Could you please repeat the questions to me?
Sure. Mayor Maldonado was asking if you have any other recommendations for me as a new director moving forward.
So it was to echo, sorry, I couldn't get that out clearly. Can you just repeat that one more time, please?
Mayor Maldonado was asking if you have any other recommendations for me as a new director in moving forward and being in compliance.
You mean any other recommendation besides those who will be identified?
Yes, sir.
Yes, there was two other recommendations we are suggesting. We didn't really include it as part of the findings, but as part of our process, when we were looking at reviewing the control process structures, we come across something we felt that it is beneficial to the organization. One was segregation of duties over the cash receipt process. What that means is if there's a too many responsibility clustered into one person, especially during the cash receipt process, there, which is creating the risk to the risk to the internal controls to the organizations. So if that segregation duty can be made to that one person's of the cash receipt, that will definitely be beneficial. Even though we didn't come across any misstatements issues from that process, but just kind of structure internal controls asset listings, maintain fixed asset listings, and then do the inventory of the fixed asset over a time period. Like for the municipalities and the government organization, we normally suggest to that to do the full-blown inventory of the fixed asset, the capital asset, at least every 3 years. So that's something we also recommended to the organization on top of those findings we identified.
That's all I have. Thank you.
That's all I have, Ben. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have this one. I'm gonna do it.
Go ahead, Councilman Gradius, or Commissioner Gradius.
Just have a quick comment. I think overall the audit was excellent. The recommendations and corrective actions taken are gonna lead us going forward, and I think they're very well taken, and we're acting on them already. The only thing I did notice is that on one of them was the 22 finding over the declaration of trust. It says that it's corrected. Can we confirm that the properties that were missing from the declaration of trust have now been included in the trust, or is that coming in the future?
Commissioner Gradias, I went to the county and I spoke to several people, and thanks to them coming together and helping, I have full packets for all our properties on file. So now I have to get all that information and put it on one sheet, which is what's acceptable by HUD, and then record it as such.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Good job, Anita. Any other questions? Okay, with that said, we move to item 5, housing resolution. Number 1, consideration and possible action of housing resolution 2023-12-10, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the Housing Authorities of the City of Nogales approving the submittal of the annual independent audit prepared and submitted by Fester and Chapman PLLC for the Nogales Housing Authorities for fiscal year ending March 31st, 2023.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Ayes take it. Item number 6, Director's Report. Maritza?
Good afternoon, thank you. I'd like to actually start with a letter that you received yesterday as well. I didn't want confusion. I didn't want to cause any confusion, but this letter was received yesterday, and these are the actual findings for last year's audit, which Ben reviewed as such. This is HUD's version of it and their recommendations and what we need to do to meet the recommendations for corrective action. And I wanted to go over it with you. The first one, which is a financial statement finding, again, at this point, we are looking into official training for our staff that is taking care of finances, up-to-date official training. So that will take care of these deficiencies and the lack of expertise, which was found, as you can see, it says including the expertise of its internal staff. So we're starting with official training on our actual finance area. And of course, as recommended also by Ben, is the fact that we need to segregate the duties. And in order to segregate the duties, we would need more than one person trained. So I'm not just focusing, or I don't want to just focus on our finance manager. I want to include somebody else in the segregation of duties for that official training, including myself. That would be the first one. The second one was actually the declaration of trust, which I just addressed that one with the answer, with the question that Commissioner Gradias had. And the third one was discarded was closed by HUD because it was taken care of before. So we're looking at those two findings from last year. Any questions on this one?
On the first one, the significant deficiencies in internal control over financial reporting, is it just financial reporting or there's no monetary deficiencies or anything?
No. It's just the actual reporting and the deficiencies within the internal control and the reporting. As a matter of fact, a lot of the differences that Ben was referring to had to do with the fact that as a whole, our office and the communication that we have with Lindsay, who we pay for accounting, is not there. So there's a lack of communication. Not only that, but we also just last month purchased an upgrade to Lindsay where it'll actually take care of the assets that Ben referred to. And we've been on conference calls with the lead manager of the accounting for Lindsay, with Ben, our finance department, and myself. So we know what we need to do moving forward, and we're taking those strides.
Perfect. Vice Commissioner?
Maritza, it says the organization should evaluate their financial reporting processes, controls, including the expertise of its internal staff. The financial reporting is done by Lindsay Company?
Yes and no. It's a little of both. So, but yes, the actual reporting, and a lot that takes place comes out of Lindsay, but it's what we're feeding into Lindsay or, making available to Lindsay that's also affecting the process and or the access to this information. So with this new module that I just spoke about in our last meeting, Will from Lindsay actually explained and showed Ben, demonstrated how instead of him coming to us to obtain that information, he can log on and get that information himself. So that'll save a lot of going around and miscommunication, like I said, or reports that aren't as accurate because he'll have direct access. Of course, we have to give him access, but he'll have direct access to pull the reports and the information that he needs from Lindsay.
So you're submitting the information into the Lindsay program and they create
Yes.
the financial statement?
Yes, to the
You're
point
not
where.
doing any general ledger transactions or anything like?
Well, we have to keep our own. I would want to keep our own. I don't want just to put everything into, Lindsay. I would like to keep our own controls, but to the point where everything's going to be scanned and then taken care of on their side.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions? Continue, Maritza.
If you don't have any other questions on the letter or the audit, I'd go ahead and move on to my regular director's report for the month. And for the month of November, sorry.
If we don't need Mr. Herr, I think we can let him go.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Herb, we're done unless you want to listen to my report. We appreciate you. I didn't hear. No, you can't hear anyone.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Public housing. In public housing, it looks like we didn't do much. But if unfortunately, just like we could have, as in this case, we had 2 move-ins, but we also had 2 move-outs. So the numbers look like they're staying at the same, but they're not. The only difference that I want to point out on here is that in interviews, she has 0 interviews. And the reason for that was because in September, when she interviewed those 7, and then in October interviewed 2, she has 5 qualified families waiting as a result of those 9. So that's why we don't have interviews for November, because we are waiting for availability on the turnaround vacancies. We go down to the vouchers. We also have an increase in the vouchers. We have 9 out on the street, we have 8 available, and we have 178 actually leased. There you see a lot of action in interviews. We actually had 14 interviews this past month in hoping to find the actual eligible family so we could assign the vouchers to go out on the street. On the project based off to the right, I'll leave the maintenance for the end. Project based to the right, we have our Bowman units, which are project based. You have 20. We had one available in October. We actually assigned that voucher and we're just waiting. They have been approved by Bowman. So by the December report, you'll see that they moved in and we'll have 20 out of 20 there. Down at the bottom, we have the voucher, the stability voucher and the emergency housing voucher. The emergency housing voucher is no longer being assigned. That's why the numbers are staying at 15 and 10. The stability voucher has taken place of the emergency voucher, and you'll see a lot of movement there. Here we had 5 stability vouchers assigned to our authority. We have 3 executed, 1 on the street, 1 available, and 1 actually moving in. So that makes up for our 5. We'll only have 1 by next month then on that. Once we have the 1 move-in, we'll only have 1 left under the stability voucher. New on this report and moving forward, I felt the importance in letting you know that since we do have a full maintenance crew now, thank you for that, I want to start reporting on the progress for maintenance. So this month, for the month of November, we had 80 work orders and all 80 have been completed. For the month total, at one point we had 6 units in turnaround status. 3 of them were made ready, so we have 3 pending for this month. And we had 10 callbacks for after hours. Majority of them were heaters. We did start, the heaters started getting cold this month, and even though they left the units running for some reason or another, we did have tenants calling back and we made sure that we addressed their issues so they wouldn't be having any, I lost my train of thought. We wanted to make sure to keep them warm and they wouldn't be suffering from cold. So we had those 10 callbacks and the majority were due to heaters.
Medic says this is something new. Just give what do you mean by turnaround status? Is that?
So we have 30 days when the unit becomes vacant to fix it and have it ready to rent out again. Within that time, that's what we call it's a turnaround status. So it's just waiting for any painting or remodeling that it might need, not major remodel, but any fixtures, anything, just preparing it for the next tenant.
Okay.
And like I said, at some point, it's kind of hard to report to really see it, but it's not that we had all 6 at one time, but at one point during the month, we had the 6 and 3 were made ready, and we still have 3. Out of those 3, actually, those 3 that are pending, 2 of them are from these past recent days. So it was only 1 actually.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I said, did you say 30-day turnaround?
Sorry, it's 20 day.
20.
Thank you for that.
All right. I have another question.
Yes, sir.
On the emergency housing vouchers, is that part of do they have like a expiration date on that, or are they included in the 193, or are they additional to the 193 vouchers?
They're additional.
Additional?
They're additional. The ones that, and we just had a meeting yesterday with our field office, the ones that are questionable now are the stability vouchers, and they're supposed to get back to us on that because those are included in our regular count when it comes to our reports that we're sending to HUD, but they're not sure how or where since it's a new program. We're going to split that. As a matter of fact, right now in Lindsay, you cannot take it away from that count. So the actual HCV count includes the 5 stability vouchers.
So how do they work? If, like, let's say the tenant wants to move to Tucson, can they do it just like the tenant-based voucher? Can
Yes.
they take that emergency voucher to Tucson or somewhere else?
It's a pour out, yeah.
Yes. Okay. And if somebody drops out of the program, is that voucher used for another tenant, for another applicant?
Not the emergency vouchers, but the stability, yes. That's what I meant about the emergency vouchers. So the 15 emergency vouchers that we have, as long as they're there, they continue to be funded. But if they drop out, we cannot reissue it.
All right. And then
Go ahead.
I have one more question. I got a letter from the Bowman project, and I don't know, he said that the gentleman there at the project said that he had already contacted you
You turned it up.
Apagate tu mic.
regarding the treatment of the tenants there. You know, most of the people there are elderly people, and supposedly the manager has been abusing his authority there. I gave a copy of that letter to Mr. Bermudez, city manager, and I don't know if he's talked to you about that. And I don't know if you want to have a meeting regarding that situation or.
Mr. Jorges, Maritza can talk about that. I had a conversation with her, and that had been taken care of. So that letter that you gave me is an issue that they had in the past, but with new management coming in, that deficiency was rectified, and Maritza can elaborate on that a little bit further.
Thank you. This happened back in September. And yes, I am aware, and he did go talk to me. And all this is a result of, we brought it up before with when Senator Grijalva was here, and we were visiting Bowman, and that's when all these concerns were raised. So it goes back to September. As a result of that, and yes, I did receive a copy of the letter that you're speaking about. And we met, we being the Gorman Group, their administration, their CEO. Most of their team came down. Brian, the CEO, was actually there with us via Zoom, and we discussed all these concerns, and they have been addressed, they have been rectified. They have a new district manager, and she's very active, and she comes down and we're in communication, anything they're doing to improve the situation. She gives me a report on it. Just for Thanksgiving, they had a Thanksgiving dinner for them. I personally have not heard any complaints from any of our voucher holders or anybody else since then. I was concerned when Mr. Bermudez first brought it up because I thought it was something new or something that's continuing, but it's the same exact letter that I received back in September. We also made a visit, Mr. Kissinger, Mr. Bermudez, our new inspector, and myself, we made a visit to Bowman 2 weeks ago, and it was a surprise visit. It was just because I knew that we had that one vacant unit, so they could see if Mr. Bermudez had not been there, and everything seemed fine in compliance. The manager there was very welcoming, and he explained what had happened back in August in reference to the water, because they were having water issues. Mayor Maldonado, you recall that as well. So we do not see any issues at the time concerning issues, but if you hear anything else, please let me know, because I do have that communication with the Gorman Group.
Because I was approached by one of the residents. He's kind of representing the tenants there, and that was like 2 weeks ago, and that problem's still going. He said the reason he contacted us is because he's following the protocol. He doesn't want to jump the chain of command, so he's gonna start talking to HUD, and then probably the Attorney General, because that's what he, kind of let us know that he's going forward with it. I didn't see anything or didn't hear anything from him that problem has already been solved. So I think it's an ongoing problem, and it's affecting the 20 vouchers that we have there, because we have 20 vouchers with Bowman, and you know that the housing authority pledges that we provide decent, safe housing and affordable housing to our tenants. So we have to look out for the safety of these residents, you know, and not the way they get treated there. Because maybe some of the residents didn't let you know what's going on because they're afraid they'll be evicted. So that's what we hear. So I don't know if the city manager wants to have another meeting with maybe call in that person and have him talk to him personally.
Vice Mayor, or Commissioner, I'll follow up with Maritza and look into that further. I know that in the past, before this letter was drafted, there were some programs that were eliminated from Bowman. My understanding is that after the new management took over, that these programs were implemented back again, and that's where we're at. But like I said, we haven't heard anything, and when I talked to Maritza, I showed her the letter. She says it's the exact same letter that she got prior to this new management group coming in. But at any rate, I'll look into it and make sure that that we're up to date as far as to the happenings there at Bowman, and making sure that it's a good, healthy environment for our residents.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Commissioner Doyle?
Yes, Director, I just want to go back because you kind of went pretty quick. We weren't able to call a question out, but I was wondering about those 10 callbacks with those, I guess it was the heating units or were dysfunctional at the time. Is that going to be a recurring problem now that the cold's going to set in, or are they going to have that corrected so people won't suffer cold when it really starts hitting us?
So we have a preventive maintenance in place. So they went through and they turned on all the heaters and did their maintenance in changing from the, AC to the actual heating units and set everything in place. Once they get them going, because they haven't been running in a while, you might run into certain malfunctions that need to be fixed on the furnace. But for the most part, it's not. We're not waiting for them to call for us to go attend to them. We set a whole week and turning on the furnaces and cleaning and giving the annual maintenance to get them going.
Thank you. I didn't get clarity on that, but thank you for.
Thank you.
That they're on top of their.
I understand your concern.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Moniz?
Mr. Bermudez, I also received a similar complaint like Commissioner Bojorquez, but it wasn't from the actual tenants, it was from family members. But I will forward you their contact number and see what they tell you. But yeah, I did receive some complaints like Commissioner Bojorquez, but it wasn't the actual tenants, it was family members of the tenants from there. So also one more question. On those two move-outs, were just regular move-outs, or were they evicted, or were they?
They're regular move-outs. We have
They
not
phased
yet.
out of the system?
Yes.
Okay.
And on the Bowman, please, any new information that we might have, like I said, I will direct myself to the government group directly, the administration.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, Maritza?
I do not have anything else unless you guys do. I'm sorry, yes, wait, just a couple of shout outs because it's positive stuff. We have several things going on for the holidays. We're delivering smiles. Thank you for the purchase of the bags. Delivering smiles to seniors. We will be delivering the boxes on the 20th next week. We'll be preparing them on the 19th. We've brought more partners into this, and now we're going to have youth delivering the boxes through Arizona at Work. The in-school youth will be helping with the delivery of the boxes. We also have a volunteer Santa Claus that will be joining us. So that should be fun if you guys want to join us. We don't have a set schedule yet, but it will be the afternoon of the 20th, and the schedule's not set exactly because we were waiting on Bowman. So we have a confirmation from Bowman, and the other properties will be worked around the 3 o'clock at Bowman. But I will be sending out the invites once we do have that set. We also have the Knights of Columbus that reached out to us, bringing holiday cheer to our needy families, and we're working with them on that. We have Santa Cruz County Health Department that's bringing resources a step closer to our seniors. That's not just during the holidays. It's a new project that they've set off. So we actually have them coming and setting up a little tarp within the areas that have more seniors, and they're bringing stuff that is donated to them, food actually, that's donated to them by the food bank, bringing it to them opposed to them having to go out and get it. And last but not least, Centro Comunitario, in collaboration with the Consul, will be having their posada this Saturday in our gym, and all of you are welcome to attend. I'm sure you received an an invite. They were supposed to go out yesterday, but yes, I will make sure that that happens.
What time?
The posada starts at, I want to say 11 to 2 this Saturday in the gym. Yes,
So-
but I will let them know that you have not received your invite.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And Marita, on Monday at 2 p.m., there's going to be community cares. So, I know you deal with, certain clubs, organizations, nonprofits, even clubs like Little League and any other clubs. These community cares, there's a gentleman, Hector, coming from Phoenix, and they offer support to small businesses, nonprofits, any organizations and stuff like that. So they're going to come and be here in the chamber, just giving a presentation, and that goes all for the commissioners, council, and everybody. They wanted. I was trying to hold off till our January meeting, but they say they'd rather do it in December. So I don't know if they have deadlines and all that, but it's a good way for local organizations and businesses to look into getting some financial support.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for
Okay.
the info. So that's this Monday, the 18th?
Monday 18th at 2 p.m.
Thank you. Any other
Okay.
questions?
No, any future item? I just want to.
Sorry, just one other
ahead.
question. Just like I added the maintenance, is there anything else you would like to see on these reports?
Yeah, I just want to make sure, and I've talked to City Manager Bermudez, makes the dates. What do we have pending? Where do we have to be in all our reporting and all that? Let's have all that. And I don't know if it's a housing agenda or, everything that we have to refer to. Make sure we're not late. If we could help you, alerting you, hey, Marita, have you done this? Hey, Marita, you get busy. Sometimes it could happen. So I've been talking to Mr. Bermudez about us having like a chart per director on all deadlines and all that, because it's going to be, with everybody working together, I think we could do better.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
That's the only thing I would push for future agenda items.
Okay.
So we're not late on any reporting or anything and get back into trouble like we were. Okay.
Thank you. Oh,
And go ahead.
sorry. Just because you said that trouble. I just found out yesterday, I'm sure they brought it up before, or if not, let me bring it up. REACT is not the inspection that's going to be used anymore. We're moving into Inspire, which has different policies, different procedures, different expectations. And Inspire will be implemented by us in September of 24. However, we just found out yesterday that feds will be coming and actually conducting an Inspire audit. They will be conducting Inspire audits throughout the United States, and we're one of the lucky ones. They will let us know ahead of time. It won't be a surprise, but just so you know, we will be one of the first ones to be inspected by the feds under Inspire, even though we're not implementing it until September. So it'll be a learning process for all, but just so you know, heads up, no surprises.
Okay, so that, just off my head, so we gotta make sure all tenants are legal to be residents and everything.
Actually, that's the physical inspection.
Okay, so, all right. Thank you for the clarification. All right, Commissioner Bojorquez.
And touching back on the corrective action that we're doing for HUD, the ones that we're correcting all those, has everybody taken the test, the what's it called now? The
For the
commissioners?
commissioners? No, sir.
No? Okay, because I took it twice. I just can't find a letter to confirm it, but, I'll take a picture of what's on the computer where it says completed.
Okay.
Okay.
And that should, like I said, that should work. And last time when you mentioned it, as long as you send me an email saying that you actually completed that will
Is that one of the
suffice.
findings or is just a recommendation?
It was, I wasn't here, but it was a finding due to conflict of interest. And that's the only way we can clear that one up.
It's a long process. It's 6 hours.
I'll recall if I had made that question to you. Were you able to see, because I know I had taken it when I was a councilman. Do we have to retake it? How long? How many years, or is it every so many years that we got to take it? I know I've done it. I know I've done it, but I don't recall the year I did it. But is it so many years that you got to redo it, or?
They did not specify so many years, but personally, from looking at it, even when that came out to what's going on now, I'm sure that so many changes have taken place that I would highly recommend that you retake it, if you don't mind.
Anybody else? Anything else, Marita?
No,
All the 6 hours at once.
Yeah, no, yeah, I recall because
Scared to do it.
I used to do it when, like traveling time and stuff like that. That's when I was doing it. Okay, with that said,
happy holidays to all.
happy holidays to everybody. Thank you. Stay safe. I move to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.